giving. Okay. So yes. So see, you are learning Java, which is mother of all languages. Simple. If you know Java, you will easily learn other languages. That's also very simple. Okay. So in your company, once you got this, so don't simply straight away jump into Java. Assume that your company have its own rules. Now go and discuss with your project manager or the product owner, who is it is. So again, once one team have its own liberty of identifying the tools. It's not that your CEO how to approve the tools. It's all open source, right?
Yes.
It's all agile. Every person is responsible of taking its own tools, so nobody will stop you. However, there are two problems. First of all, if your company is already following a framework, then you can't propose a new framework. Okay, if you are trying to do that, then you will be in trouble. Obviously, because you are saying that no, this is all good, time waste. If you're already doing in JavaScript, time waste. Douglas is doing Java because I know Java. Oh, this guy is super. Maybe I think he can create wonders in Java. And they will give you a liberty and they'll stop that automation pack and do it. Then you start writing publish static void main. They will not find element and they ask, Madhuri, I think I'm not getting XPath. What is the XPath for this element? Then that's it. Then that's it. Then you will be in a problem because you are acting too smart. Okay, properly. If you go to a company and all, honest, I'm telling, with the environment of the people and technical people, you will get too much reacted and you start talking something which you don't know and you will repent later. That's what happened in my company. When I go to first day, I think, oh, all this is nonsense. Let us have my own automation tools and all. They were thinking, oh, this guy is okay. Start doing it. Okay, but high menace because I know automation. Okay, but I'm telling it is not a good deal. So that's the reason why you should be very careful. We have to suggest these tools. However, if company is using some tools, you need to go into that direction. Okay, and if lucky that if they're following Java, that's it. Okay, not in Telugu there is something called rotte virigi tenlo padina. No, right? Telugu, you know?
No.
Why you are shaking your head? If you translate the Samhita, then it will be not good. Okay, it will be like that Sankardada movie only.
That's not where even we want to know.
See, there are few, the proverbs that only can be talking Telugu only, with that native language. If you convert it into the other language, that gist will go.
What is the moral of that story?
Means రొట్టె తేనెలో పట్టం అంటే మీనింగ్ ఏంటంటే సంధ్య bun is in honey.
Yes.
That doesn't make sense to you? No, right?
But it makes sense.
Okay. So that will come. No, means you are very lucky that it's like you born with a silver spoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
For here they will say a topping on the cake, like extra topping.
Yeah. Or cake walk or something like that, okay?
But sir, if they don't have what we know, so do they provide the training to us? Then what is the solution?
Okay, guys, very good question. This is what I want. So she's asking if they have a different technology on what we
Yeah,
got.
this is my question as well, sir. So if they have another.
Sir, the same
Question is same, right? Let me answer it, okay?
The answer is the same.
Okay. So the thing is, what is there in your CV? Java or JavaScript?
Java.
What they interviewed you?
Java.
When they're coming on the day one, will they expect you to be a different person or the same person?
Same person.
With a different dress, but same person, right? Obviously. Maybe same dress, that will be too much of it. Okay. So, they will not expect you to do anything in JavaScript. They will expect you in Java. However, they will definitely give you some time to learn. They will not give a training. They will not put in a room and they know that days are gone. Nobody is investing a single penny on any extra cost. They say that, okay, on the fly you learn, I'll give you some time, 1 month they will give. Maximum, that's it. No induction, nothing. No, that days are gone. See, I'm telling, day one, typically, you are working in a very fast-paced environment. BDD and all, very, very fast-paced. If you are a QA joined, If you are taking 1 month time to get into the speed, by the time there's a 2 sprints happened. So already I will be in a risk. So they will not give that time. Think that at least manual testing day 1 they will expect you. At least manual testing. So you should be able to go to Jira, know your tickets, see the acceptance criteria. If something is there in the test, you should be able to day 1 test the ticket and move it into done status. Okay, that they will definitely expect. Okay, so day 1 when you go, they will give a Jira board, they will give a username and password, they will assign a ticket to you and ask you to test that ticket, either write the test cases or to do the test. That definitely they will expect. Without that, काम नहीं चलेगा. Okay, yeah. So that's the thing. And coming to automation, they will give you enough time. They will explain the framework. They will give you enough time. They will ask that. We got a lot of backlogs. So there is either there will be a backlog like this where there are a lot of things to automate, or there may be future sprints where the tickets are coming. So what are the new tickets are coming? What are the tickets? It's a BDD. Every ticket should be having a automated test. Okay. So depending upon what company you go. Okay. So like that. But you will have time, at least 1 month you will have time. But I'm telling, if you, day 1, if you think that you are in a problem, you think that there's a lot of expectation automation, manual side, don't worry, you will go up. But automation side, if you think there's a lot of expectations, immediately contact us. Yes.
The training period they pay us or free?
No, it's not training, it's employment.
One month you say the one.
No, it's not a training period. It is, you are still doing manual testing, right? So 1 month you will be manual tester. So it's not a training period. You have to learn yourself. Means you need to take the automation code, existing framework, download locally and start doing it. Okay. And you will see page object model and all these things. Okay. That is why we're telling all these things. Okay. Come on, let's go. So now we decide on these tools. Okay. They're happy with this?
Yes, sir.
Next thing that you need to do is you need to decide on the framework. What framework we have to use. Okay. So we have to decide on the framework. Means we need to decide on the pattern. What is the design pattern that we have to follow? Okay. It is, you are now in a Java world where you are now, from now onwards, you are doing a real project. Okay. From now onwards, real time things started. The first thing that you have to decide is what is the framework, means what is the design pattern that you have to have, framework. No more small scripts. It's all big. Okay. So first of all, you need to decide on design patterns. Okay. So design patterns is nothing but the way that you design your complete framework. So out of that, one of the design pattern is your page object model. Okay. So don't ask me why, but there are 3 design patterns we have to use. Okay, definitely. Without that, that is a basic design patterns. There are a lot of companies who don't follow that. They will still follow linear design pattern. But we have to use these 3 patterns. One is page object model, one is page factory, and one is singleton. Okay, there's one more. Okay, factory method. Yeah, browser factory. Okay, 4 design patterns we have to follow. Okay, this is very advanced design patterns for any Java project, not automation. We have to follow this, otherwise we can't follow. Okay, apart from this, what else we can follow is we can follow springs. You know springs? Okay, there is advanced concept called springs. We can use it, but we are not using it. Okay, because that will be too complex. Okay, springs. Spring is one of the design patterns. Yeah. Design pattern is a kind of a technical architect, a technical technical design of a complete solution. Okay, it's a design. It's a technical design of a project.
We have basically placing the information.
Yes.
That design framework.
Yeah, I'll tell you what is the definition. Don't go. I'm just giving the numbers. Okay. I'll give the definition. So, what is a design pattern? What Bhargavi asked is, what is a design pattern at all? So, what is a design pattern? It's a technical blueprint of our application. Okay, technical blueprint. Okay, so very nice. I want that kind of questions. Okay, so you asked, she asked. Okay, please ask those kind of questions. Otherwise I will be going very fast. Okay, so what is the technical blueprint? Example, you want to construct a building. Will you construct a building straight away, or will you do something else? You have a scale and pencil, and you have pencil, you put it here, and you actually do some kind of thinking, right? So what exactly you are doing there? You are drawing the stuff. Why you are doing that?
So there should be strong
Yes. Yes.
This is the base of your
It's a framework. It's a skeleton of your things. Okay. You don't decide upon whether you will use plaster of Paris or bricks or hollow bricks. So the meat is not at all defined there, and you will use wood or whatever it is, declons. That's a different thing. But you will have a kind of blueprint where think, okay, this is the way I need to have my design of my complete structure, concrete structure. The same way, you have to have a design structure of your project, because right now we are in a big project. We are using a lot of tools. Okay. See, think about right now we got 50 to 60 test cases, and think that they have to continuously run without failing, without a reason. We have to continuously run for 1 hour. Can any of your scripts running more than 5 minutes without stopping? All right.
No.
Now we are designing a framework which have to run 1 hour in one browser. Like that, it have to run on different browsers, and it have to run continuously without any problem. So our expectations are too high. A lot of complexity is there in a project. Okay. So to handle that complexity, we need to, with experience, we need to have a proper design pattern. Okay, we can't just jump. That is exactly the same impression that you have to go in interview. Saying that if somebody asks you to design a framework, example, interview the same question. In my company, if you come, what you will do? I will implement automation in your company if you don't have, or if you have, then I will try to improve it. Okay, then okay, nice. How do you do it? Because I have 5 years experience, you can see in the CV. I got lot of experience in designing frameworks. Oh, nice. You can design a framework. Tell me what kind of designs you can do. Okay. I usually use Cucumber phase object model. Okay, and using that, I follow few design patterns. I will name them. At that time, you will remember Sriram sir. Oh, Sriram sir talking about design patterns at that time. If you remember this class, you will get a job. If you normally forget after your day-to-day life, going after home and kids and all, you forgot about what happens, then at that time you will remember me, but you will not remember this. Sriram sir already said, but I will forget. Then you will be a blank face. See, again telling you, talking nicely is very good, but also having a backup of what you are talking properly will give you a proper feedback. Okay, so that's the reason why you need to know all these things. Okay.
Sir, usually we get the screenshots of like from the architect, we'll be getting the wireframes or something. Prototypes.
But that is for development, madam. This is for automation, right?
But we don't follow.
Why we do it? That's it for development. We're talking about automation. We already got an input. That is called test cases. So for our application, what is the input? We already got test cases.
So if you have a technical or a test lead, and if they have already got a design thing, and will you be still doing this, or you'll follow what they've told you?
Good point. If it is already there, you will try to see whether they are following the pattern or not. Okay, so in one of my company, I went there. The framework is good. They had Cucumber scenarios. They have everything, but the design, they are not following these patterns. They have a linear pattern. Means they don't have page object model. They don't have page factory. They don't have browser factory, and they don't have page factory also. Singleton. So they don't have singleton. They have multiple places where the application is getting started. So it is still working, but going forward, I know it will have a lot of problems, because what are the pattern that he is following is still works. End of the day, it works, but it takes more time than expected.
As a new person, would you say anything?
You recommend it. You will say that in my past company, I used few patterns. Shall we try this? So they will say yes, but they'll ask you why. Benefit. Then page object model is a definite game breaker. It will definitely help you in a lot of sense, which we will discuss. Okay. You have to say without page object model, at least we have to follow this. These three things are okay. So this is basic. This is a little bit more basic. This is advanced. This is advanced. This is advanced. This is 5 levels. At least first level they have to follow. Without that, you can't do. But anyway, when you I'm telling right now, you are just a fresher. So when you're joining, you don't talk all these things yet. Okay, because they will again fall back on you on all these things. But after 1 or 2 years, you will really understand the value of them, and then definitely they're not implementing, you will implement. Okay.
So one company will have different patterns, or if they have one pattern, they just stick to one pattern.
The company will have different patterns. So normally thing is definitely people will use. It's very common. Everybody using.
Okay.
Okay. One company which I went, they're not following that. See, following the only two cases, not following or following. That's it.
Okay.
It's not like is there anything like page object model? No, there is no other patterns. In Java, these are the good patterns. Okay.
Yes.
So data structures, these are all these patterns. So either they follow or they don't follow. If they don't follow, so things will work.
Okay.
So things will work. But I am saying it is good to follow.
You said in Java these are good patterns, so that means it varies from
Yes,
JavaScript.
it varies. In
Okay.
C# and all it varies.
Okay.
In C#, I mean, few things varies. Okay.
Okay.
Because Springs is not there in C#. That is called something else. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, that's called MVC and there are a lot of other things. But let us not go to that level. Okay. Okay. Now. So now the framework is this. So we got design patterns. Apart from that, we need to also discuss about what are the reports. I think we discussed. Yeah. So where the reports are coming from, and where the data is coming from. Okay. So let me just put like this. Okay. Now it makes sense. So design patterns are like this. After design patterns, you need to see when you are starting from scratch. We need to discuss about this. So what kind of reports that we are expecting? Because without report, nothing will happen, right? HTML, JSON, and screenshots. So these are the 3 things that we need to discuss when we are coming to reports. So in your company, when you are starting a framework, before starting a framework, just the way that we are right now, we have to discuss whether there is whether we have to follow reports or not. Or if you have to follow reports, is it HTML reports or JSON reports? This is what we need to discuss. So now tell me whether do we need a report or not?
Yes.
Why?
Because you're in
But
BDD
find
format.
any bug.
To submit the test code.
So would you have report before starting the automation?
We need to discuss, not about whether we need to have a report or not. We need to discuss that whether in few companies there's no reports. So now JUnit also it is giving a report, it is giving an outcome. So without reports we can still exist. But whether we need to have a report or not, that's the question. Okay, we need it? Yeah. So there are few kind of reports. One is HTML, one is something called pretty report. Pretty girl, right? We say she's very pretty, right? Like that we will say pretty reports are also there. Okay. So there are few options. We can have pretty reports, we can have HTML report, we can have JSON reports, and also we can embed screenshots in the reports. We can, but now no, I am not giving that. I will give. So what I am telling is we will only get HTML report. Okay. So I think that is the best way. So we got a lot of options, but star mark is the one that we are following. Okay. I mean this JUnit tunnel we are following. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So like that we got 4 options. So in interview I'll ask, tell me what kind of reports that your company is using. HTML report. Right now it's just say. But when we go to Jenkins continuous integration, then this JSON reports and HTML reports will come into picture. Okay. A lot of things. There's a lot of things to discuss. Okay. And also say that yeah, we are taking screenshots as a part of the report, but we will discuss that later. Okay. Coming to data. Again, the next question the interview will ask. How do you manage test data in your framework? That is the question that they will ask. Okay. Till now we discussed about framework, we discussed about reports, we discussed about tools, we discussed about the scope. We discussed about a few important things as a part of our automation test plan, right? We're planning the automation. I haven't written one line of code yet. It's about before writing the code, we need to have this. Okay, that is what the automation architect. You are not an automation tester now. You are like our automation architect, where you know what is where in your mind. Okay. Now, coming to test data. If you see our framework, if you see, this is our scope, right? So we got a lot of test data. So now tell me, where exactly is the test data coming from?
So it is in your resources, home base, library.
So where is the test data? Are you giving the test data from database, or from Excel sheets, or from feature files, or are you generating by yourself? That is the 4 questions I got. Again, I'm asking, is it coming from database? Yes or no? Do you need to right now? But in your company, do you need to?
Yes.
Maybe, yes. So that's not understanding. You have to say that depending upon what you kept in your CV. Okay, when you in a CV, you'll put a project, right? So that project that you see put in a CV, you have to definitely understand the project, and you need to think whether that project that you kept in a CV needs test data from database or not. Okay, you need to have that answer before you go to interview. Suddenly, if I ask are you getting the data from database in your company, then you should not like think twice. Either yes or no. We should be very clear. Okay. So that is one of the option. Using Java, we can either get the data from database. Okay. If you want to say that yes, coming from database, then you need to know this JDBC jar file. Okay, which already discussed, right? Because in some companies that happens actually. Database example, we want to test different usernames. Example, we are testing a HR management system. So we want to check that whether all the different kinds of employees, admin, super admin, your what you call your teacher, your contractor, all the different kind of users are able to log in. So if you just test with admin is able to log in, whether is the test completed? Or can you create a user admin on the floor? No, you can't create. Example is a contractor. So that username that you create for the contractor, that should come through a third party, right? Somebody else have to create through the system, and then only that user will be created. You can't create by yourself. So you will never have a registration link also. Then how do you test that the contractor can log in? Yeah, so you can't do anything. Your Cucumber is say sorry, I can't do, because in Cucumber you have to give the data, but you don't have data with you. And if you think that okay, maybe I go to manually go to database and get the username and password, but you can't guarantee that, because that username and password you can get today, maybe tomorrow it may not work. Maybe that contractor is expiring to tomorrow. So what happens? You do that, you run your test, day after tomorrow test will fail. And the morning you go to stand up with a test report. And in the report, 90%, 90% test cases are passed, 10% test cases are failed. All the contract related test cases are failed. Then you'll be blank face. Because your automation test framework is not properly designed, your tests are failing. You'll be like worrying, oh, what happened? And every day morning, think that you have to take your test report with you in your stand up. If any of the bug, if your tests are failed, then you need to have a proper bug number when you go to database or when you go to stand up. Nitish, go and come. See, Mentos, that's the problem. I said, right? Don't give Mentos.
I should have given him. In fact, I didn't give
Oh,
him.
yeah, maybe that's the problem. Okay, so again, I'm telling you go to stand ups, and then stand up, you need to have your report. Okay, so how is example? Okay. Okay. Like this, you will have a report. This is called pretty report. Okay. Okay. This is called pretty report. This is not HTML. Okay. So this is the report that you before you going into stand up, you will have this report, and this report will be in the big TV. It will be TVs, right? So you will have one TV with a Jira board and one TV with this report. And when the people are 10 people in your team are standing, your Scrum Master will talk about this. But before that, first of all, he will see that it should be green. All green. If it is not green, what happens? How many test cases are failing here? Means how many scenarios are failing here? The 2 scenarios are failing here. Right? So you should have 2 bugs in your hand. 2 bug numbers before you go to stand up. Means that should be a bug. If it is not a bug, then they will bug you. It will be a big problem. I'm honest. I'm telling you. If you don't, I mean, if you go to companies, things are very different. They will say that why is 11% failing? If you say that, no, I think they are failing. I don't know why they are failing. I need to go and look. You might have come morning 6 o'clock into office, and by 10 o'clock by stand up, it should be all green. If it is not there, you will be in trouble. Okay, because that's what your role is. Your role is to maintain your automation framework. If your test is failing, you are responsible of it. And if it is failing with the wrong reason, this is now, if your bug is the bug, that's fine, you can go. But in this case, where the contractor example, you are not able to log in with that because that particular username that you used is expired, but you don't know. And you're using a static data, one data that you think that this always works, but the data is wrong. So your automation framework plan is wrong. So now if you go here, then your Scrum Master will kick you. If you say, no, I think the contractor username is expired. Then why the hell you had used that static data? Why don't you use the database as your test data instead of using a static Cucumber data? Then you know, I'm sorry. That won't happen. Okay, in company and all, sorries, there's no place for sorries. Okay, so you should be. See, it's about. It's not that they will take you off day one, but it is about your responsibility. You are like a responsible person of your team. As a responsible professional person, will you allow these kind of silly mistakes? No, right? That is the reason why it is good taking all this conversation in mind. It is always a good practice to have a proper plan before you jump into automation. Okay, so I did not write one line of code yet. Before itself, I know that these things can happen in my company, so I'm planning it properly. Okay, so that's the reason why you will have few options of your test data. That is the reason why it is very important. Okay, so if your company using this example, then you say that your test data is coming from database, not from Cucumber feature files. Okay. See, how to retrieve is simple. You write a utility. Okay, so instead of writing your your scenario will be very like this. Okay, user types email. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, and then okay, you got into this. Then here write JDBC dot. I'm just writing, okay, because of this.
It was very quick.
I'll come to that. Okay. Okay, your database connection like 191.09.1. Okay, by that is your username. You need to give username. So something like admin. Okay, and your password will be admin at the rate of Hema. What is the standard password? Admin 123, right? Hema. That is a standard password. Okay. And then you get connection. Something like this. Okay, I'm writing pseudo code, not real code. Okay. So this is a connection object, right? That's a connection SQL. Okay. Connection dot. Okay. Execute. Okay, you don't need to worry. I'm just showing only for Bhargavi purpose. Okay, because she got a lot of questions in her mind. Okay. select top one. Okay, from something like this. Okay, this data SQL query. Okay, username from users where user dot type is equal to contractor, something like this. Okay. Okay, like this. Make sense? So you'll execute this, and this will give a result object. It's all Java, right? So that is the beauty of Java. You can do anything. Okay. Okay, so now your username, whatever you want. Okay, so string that's it. So you got username. Then what you will do is now in your driver dot find element blah blah blah. When you're sending keys, you will give that username as the input. That's it. Okay, so that way you get the data from your database and give it into your Cucumber feature file. Okay, make sense? Bhargavi, clear? Okay, so I'm just citing. So that is the way to explain in your company what happens. If they elaborate it, you have to say that this is the way I do it. Okay, and this all will come through JDBC. Okay, right. Come back. So your Excel. So same way we can get the data from Excel sheet. Example, we got an Excel sheet of data. Same way, instead of using JDBC, we use some other library. What is that library? Excel sheet. I said one jar file previously. Yeah, py dot jar file. Okay. Okay, that's an Excel sheet. Otherwise, static data from BDD files means nothing but right now we are following static data. Okay, which is your ABC what is. Okay. Finally, random data. Okay, we also can get the data from random data. Okay, you know, when you're using Selenium IDE, we got a problem with the usernames, right? So then in Java we use random object. Remember?
Yes.
Same way we can use a random object. Okay, like that. The 4 ways to get the data. Sometimes it can be XML files. Sometimes it can be APIs also. Sometimes, okay. If you go depth into that, there are some places where the data will be given XML files. Okay, so your whole test data will be in XML files. You don't need to write it in a Cucumber feature file, but say that given a user is in that XML file, pick that username and try to log in with that. Okay, so we can do anything. So this is what the advantage of Selenium, because we can use Java to do anything. Okay, over test data. What else is left as a part of framework? Discussed about reports, we discussed about data, we discussed about design patterns, we discussed about tools, we discussed about scope. Finally, what is the thing that we need to discuss as a part of framework? Framework, we need to decide upon your continuous integration. Yes, okay, continuous integration and version controlling. So what kind of version controlling system that we are using? Okay, so that's what Tushar is talking, right? So normally GitHub is very famous. Okay, there's no other alternative. So for continuous integration, we use Jenkins. Okay, yes, cross-browser testing. Okay, for that we use Selenium Grid and Sauce Labs. Okay. Okay, so apart from the data, we also have to think about what kind of continuous integration tools that we have to use. Okay, so you can have alternatives like TeamCity, and all. Okay, there's some alternatives, but only remember one. Okay, don't remember everything. Okay. So if somebody asks in your company what continuous integration tool you are using, it's like national anthem. Everybody uses Jenkins. Okay, nowadays. So yeah, that's the reason why Jenkins. And for version controlling, we use GitHub. And for cross-browser testing, we use Sauce Labs and Selenium Grid. Okay. Sauce Labs we will not discuss, but Selenium Grid we will discuss. Okay. Sauce Labs licensing tool. Okay. Cool. So this is the next course is about this. So once we completed our basic framework with page object model today, and the next few weeks we'll be discussing about this continuous integration and your cross-browser testing. Okay. So like this is what you will be learning till end. So now if you see the big picture, see where we started, right? If you see now, this is the whole framework. Your mind map is the whole, this is what the whole course is about, right? So this is not only just this. Okay, people will only teach this outside, or people will only learn this. But we started with this, which is a big thing. Now you know the value of Java, right? We started with this, then we started JUnit, and from there, your agile is very important because you need to know where your automation sits. There are two kind of things, agile and BDD, right? In BDD, your automation scenarios are written in parallel with the development. Okay, develops how do you automate application from scratch. So this is where things, okay. Okay guys, so let us have a break for 15 minutes. Then we come back and straight away jump into coding part. Okay, and then we will discuss about page object model. But come fast, okay? Please, please, definitely 2:55 come here.